This is a tutorial about how to set up the trade show display for promo events. So first of all, your trade show display is going to be stored in 2 different boxes. These boxes right here. These boxes are great because they also double as stands that you're going to have as part of your display. Essentially, your trade show display is these 2 boxes, and then we also have the main large section that's in the middle that has a banner that goes across the front of it, and then there are 2 side pieces. So your first main big piece is this bag right here. You should have a large bag here with all of your poles and stuff, and this is for the center display of the trade show. You should have a smaller bag in here, and this is going to be that banner piece that attaches to the top of the trade show display. There will also be another small bag, and this just has some of your more curvy pieces and stuff that can go inside of here. And then this itself is the big wrap that's going to go on the center piece. Safety for these pieces is that whenever you are putting them on or off the poles, you need to be wearing these gloves. This just helps keep them safe, helps keep skin oils and stuff off of those, off the fabric. And then when they store, we always need to store them inside out as well. So that's pretty easy. It'll always be the white side that you will see to store those. Side sections, the storage for that looks like this. It's going to be this bag with your poles inside of it. And then inside the plastic wrap, this is for one side, this is for the other side, but you'll have your fabric here. This is similar to that one for the larger display, but it's smaller. And then over here, we have 2 of these bags. These are your poles for doing your boxes, your stands. I talked at the beginning about how the boxes are going to turn into stands. These are your poles for that. And then these fabrics here, you can tell that they're for the boxes because they're going to have these Velcro pieces. You'll see how we use that in just a little bit. On one of the sides, there's actually a place for a television. So this box that's here is your television mounting equipment. So the stand is gonna get mounted, and then you're gonna be able to put the TV on that. And you'll be able to tell which side it is because there's a hole in the fabric that the TV goes through. These are the light cases for the lights that go on the top of the banner, just to the top of the trade show display, just to give it a nice look. And then these are connector pieces. This is kind of how the center piece connects with the side pieces and keeps it in place. And then these are some tools that you'll need for setting everything up. Again, your gloves. And then these are connector pieces. I talked at the beginning about the trade show display centerpiece, and then there's a banner that goes along the top of it. So that's how you're gonna connect that banner right here. There's some extra things here that can be options. Like these, I think, are for if you actually stand up a TV. I think that's what that would be for. And then this bag has extra bags for storing all of your fabric. So that's great. Always store your fabric wraps inside plastic bags to keep them safe. And then these are actually 2 different wraps that can go on the boxes that are just plain black. So that's another option. We probably will not really use them, but just so you know what they are and don't get them confused with the other supplies. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next part where we explain how to actually put together these pieces.
And we're rolling.
So we are going to go through how to assemble one of the boxes that turns into a stand. So you're going to want the box itself, one of your things of poles, and then you should have the lid of the box, and then underneath the lid there should also be this piece as well. So you're going to start with the lid. You're going to turn it over right side up and screw in all of your poles.
We're gonna fast forward this part, like speed to it.
Once you got the poles screwed in, you'll take your box and you'll fit them to holes that are on the underside of this box. You'll see them as you do it. Just make sure your straps are not in the way. Once you have it here, you're gonna grab your cover, put gloves on, you'll use these Velcro pieces to keep it taut on there in just a second, but for right now, you're gonna wanna undo them. As you can see, the ministry emblem is on this side. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you do it right side up over the box so that it's not upside down. All right, so you've got it over and situated. Now you're just gonna pull it over your last few corners here. And I usually start with the top Velcro. But again, you're gonna take those Velcro pieces, kind of pull them a little bit to get it nice and taut and connect them. And then you have the same Velcro pieces on the bottom of it. A lot of times they like to get stuck along the edge. So just do a little digging and pull them out. And this will give the whole piece stability. And then the last thing that you're going to do is take this black lid piece, put it on top. That lid can easily come on and off, so your bags that you're gonna have from everything, you can still store stuff inside of here. This is a great little hidey spot for cash registers or cords and stuff that can be fed down there and keep it nice. And you've got a nice clean stand. This is for one of the side pieces of the trade show display. So we've got our poles right here. So you want to just pull them out of the bag. You will follow the numbers. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what that numbers mean. Pretty self-explanatory. The kind that you push down, slide it over, and then it clicks in place. Your long poles are going to be your sides, and then your two shorter poles are going to be your top and bottom. Something that you do want to pay attention to is that these pieces are the bottoms, and they connect to the feet right here. So just make sure that when you're assembling it that you make sure it's like that. And then these are your top pieces, so they're going to curve along the top. A little tip for these is as you're doing it, the numbers are mirrored. So these are your 2 feet, and then you have your 2 side poles, which are number 3. And then, I'm sorry, this is your top and bottom. This is top, and then the other one is gonna be the bottom, and then number 5 are your side poles. This is one of your side pieces, and right over there are the 2 feet that will go on the bottom. But you're gonna wanna wait on putting those on until the fabric wrap goes on. All right, we are ready to put the fabric on the frame. Again, you're gonna wanna make sure your gloves are on. The technique that we want you to use for this, for the longevity of the fabric itself, is put it on the corners, get it attached on both sides, like so. And your zipper's at the bottom, so that's where it's gonna zip, and then you put the feet on. Instead of like tugging it like this all the way down, you're gonna wanna get it situated, and then you're gonna wanna do more of a gentle pull down the pole. It's best to do this with 2 people so that you guys can kind of work at the same pace. So we have our fabric over the frame, and the last step is to zipper it. And this is actually a separating zipper. So you're gonna zipper it over the bottom pole here, and then it'll have a spot right here where your foot's gonna go in. Will still be open because the zipper stops before that.
Okay, welcome to the initial setup of the TV. So as you get started, I'd recommend that you go ahead and have these 2 pieces connected. They were already previously connected, so you have just in case you have a hex Allen wrench connector down here for these 2 bolts, and they are cinched in here. So I would recommend just to leave that as is. Don't change anything, even as you tear down. So you're going to take the first piece, which this is your lower portion. You actually will have 2 of them and connect them later, but you'll fit that into this slot. You can kind of see how it's rubbed a little bit there, but you want to make sure that you fit your screw hole with this screw hole on either side. So that should fit right in there, just like that. And then you're going to take 2 about 1-inch screws, I believe, with the Allen wrench connector there, with a washer. Should have 2 of them. They look just a little bit warmer than your other screws. Most of the other screws are about that color. They're a little bit darker. So you'll just screw those in on either side. Just kind of get it started by hand, and you'll use your Allen wrench to cinch it down. Just like that. And then do the same thing on the other side. All right, we got our first pole connected. Now, to connect your second pole, there are these brackets here on either side. So these brackets, you're going to loosen this bracket and then it'll slide in to the railing of the other one. And you'll cinch it down, and that's what really connects it together. So you'll use your smaller Allen wrench to undo these screws here, and then once it slides down, you'll be able to cinch it down. So I need to grab the smaller Allen wrench right here. So I'll loosen, I believe there's 4 screws on either side. This thing can slide out, but it just slides out like that. Okay, just gonna work it in, just like that. And you want to give it enough, well, that went all the way down. You want to give it enough so that you kind of screw in on both sides. So these 2 will connect to the bottom connector, or the bottom, and then these 2 will connect to the top. Do the same thing on the other side. If it slides down like that, not a problem. Just slide it back up. Alright, so now that you have your poles set up and both of them are connected, you should have, and I should have double checked this when I set this up. Thankfully I had it right. There should be 2 screw holes. You'll want those to be facing the front so that you can connect your screen connector to there. And so you're going to use maybe like 1.5 inch screws or so with washers. They have a Phillips head on them. Put them just through the holes, and then you'll screw them into those 2. One important thing to note is how you mount it, the orientation. You want to make sure that your lip is facing out, because the TV will hook and grab here like that. If you put it on backwards, then it's not going to be able to grab there properly. That is it for the TV mount itself. Now it is ready to be put into your banner and the TV to be mounted to it.
Hello, this is your tutorial for putting together the middle large section of the trade show display. Something to note that is going to help you with organizing your pieces. First of all, you always want to keep the same pieces for the same part of the display in the same bag. But if there is ever a time where you're getting mixed up, you'll notice that on the pieces for the main middle display, there are shapes on it. And then for the pieces for the side displays, there are numbers. So that's one way that you can help stay organized. Also the same for the Academy of Arts banner that goes at the top of the trade show display, that has numbers as well. So your pieces for this, again, you're gonna assemble them. And with this one, it's really nice. Your shapes are gonna match what goes with where. So I've got a square and a square here, and I'm gonna assemble these pieces. And then from there, I'm looking for a filled in square, and I'm gonna assemble that piece next. And this one's a little interesting. It's a curved display. So if the shapes are looking funny to you, that's because it's on purpose. Now that we have our pieces assembled, last but not least, you're gonna want this rod to go in before you start with the fabric. It's actually gonna go in a hole right here, and then also connect here at the bottom. And this is kind of a tension rod just to help keep the shape of this giant piece. All right, here we have our fabric piece ready to go on to the frame. Reminder to put on your gloves before you do this. This is definitely a 2-person one that you'll want to have some help with. Your zipper's here again at the bottom, and this zipper actually wraps fully around these poles because this one does not have any feet, unlike the side ones. Just a reminder also, with working with the fabric, you want to make sure that the floor space you're using is not really dirty. Right now I don't have anything under it because this is a carpet, but if you're on a tile or even on a stage or something, you might just want to put down a drop to keep dirt and stuff from getting onto the fabric. Here we are, we've got it completed. As you'll see right here, there are 2 different zippers. There's one on each side. So as you're going, you'll try to pull your zippers. The hardest part to get it over is this curve. We actually ended up pulling our zipper from on that side all the way over here. So you don't necessarily have to meet them in the middle. It's just whichever one is going easier is the one that you can pull to get it shut all the way. And as you're working on that, you want to make sure that your tension rod that's in the middle stays in place, because that's going to be helpful for keeping the shape of this. This is our last piece for the trade show display. So it's going to be the banner part that goes across the top of the middle section. So you're going to get your pieces together and assemble them. Again, similar concept to the rest of the pieces. And now that the piece is on, you will go to your assembly of the whole thing all together.